Shalom, Yashala, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Yasharallah. Kol Haloyim La, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Harakah Kodash, for blessing our elders with the spirit of truth so that we may know. Shout out to the Akim and the Akwaf that's keeping the faith and the work. Shall keep at it. It's your brother Abaya coming at you with more precepts. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 21, and verse 8. It says, "Thine hand shall find out all thine enemies." Right? Thy right hand shall find out those that hate thee. The Most High is constantly on the exposure of the devil and of the enemy's plots and plans. And the Most High is exposing. Right? Verse 9, it says, "Thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thine anger. Yahweh shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them." Because that's the ultimate outcome for the daughter of Babylon and all these different individuals that have fought against Jerusalem. Right? It says, "Their fruit shalt thou destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the children of men. For they intended evil against thee. They imagined a mischievous device which they are not able to perform. Therefore shalt thou make them turn their back, when thou shalt make ready thine arrows upon thy strings against the face of them." All right? That's what this place is leading to. Straight up destruction. Right? But before they get destroyed, they got to let loose their plans. And the Most High going to allow them to do it to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, ain't going to go too far. But he is going to allow the devil to reach a certain plateau when it comes to this wicked device. This is the book of Job, chapter 20, and verse 22. It says, "In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, power shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating." Right? While he is eating. And the devil already eating. He's going to eat even better when this thing get introduced. Right? This Revelation 13 thing. All right, so this is an article in Zero Hedge. Title, "Is this the first step towards a central bank digital currency?" Right, 3 days ago. It says, in the video above, we are talking about an article I read in Newsweek titled, "Biden Raises Costs for Home Buyers with Good Credit." And if you didn't know that, that's something that Sleepy Creepy Joe just did. He made it so that people who have good credit have to pay more in order to get a house and maintain it. Right? It says, now that headline may sound confusing at first. Why would someone with good credit have to pay more for a home? And it says, but the truth is the Biden administration is trying to close the racial home ownership gap by helping riskier borrowers. And this is where things get interesting. They always try to say they're trying to help some. Always trying to help. Right? And the help always turn out to be totally opposite of that. Just like that thing, when that thing hit the earth and it shut down the world for 2 years, then they introduced something to the world that was brand new, unheard of. And they were saying this was this to help us get back on point, help us, be able to leave our homes and get back to normal. But come to find out, the thing that they said was supposed to help us was actually sending so many people to the spirit world, leaving people with nerve damage and all kinds of different effects. Right? But it's the same idea, man. These folk ain't hitting on nothing. But it says, I've been warning about central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, for a long time. But it's not just the currency itself that's a problem. Right? it's the infrastructure and the power that come with it. So say they introduce the CBDC, it don't go into your body at first. It's just on a card or something. And that's the only way you can buy or sell. It's on a card first. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's just like you having a debit card right now. Right? If they say no more cash now, the only thing you can use is your debit card, that's straight. The problem comes when they started to put legislation on it because of, I don't know, ID theft or whatever, and they say now it has to be implanted inside of you. Now we got a problem, right? The problem comes when they say, well, we got a social credit system, and if you don't abide by this social credit system, then we're gonna cut your funding off. I don't care if you work or not. We're gonna cut your funding off for an extended period of time, just like they do on YouTube and these different social media sites. When you speak against the guidelines of whatever the site is, and they penalize you for a week or two, or they just take your channel all the way down altogether. It's the same idea. That's when the problems come, right? But it says CBDCs would allow central planners and authoritarians, right, to have unprecedented control over our finances. And this new development with home buyers is just the latest example, right? So basically he's speaking like they're being penalized for having good credit, right? And that's another thing they may do. Spin it to where the so-called Latino, so-called Native Americans, we the problem, right? So all of these things are being introduced because of us. Man, it's crazy how the devil do so, man. Devil will create a situation such as poverty and oppression, and things that come with poverty and oppression, they blame on the people instead of clearly seeing the pattern of, if you force a people to be oppressed and impoverished, have lack of knowledge, lack of knowledge of self, like they ain't got nothing to do with anything. All right, man, that was something else, man. Let me see. Let me go to natural fiction. Looking for Salah. 1 second. Yeah, Salah. 1 second. Okay, so this is the book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 10. It says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our power, and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. Right? And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Right? So that's what this devil constantly does, accuses Yasharallah before Yahweh. Right? But he sets up the situation for us to be in, right? For this devil to even be able to open his mouth to accuse anybody of anything. If everything was all square and all on the up and up, we already showed this devil how it goes, man. We all heard of the different Black Wall Streets and the different so-called black communities and different organizations that rose up off of one mindset, but it got destroyed by the devil, right? So ain't nothing fair about this place, right? But anyway, getting back to this article, let me see. It says, I'm going to read that portion again. CBDCs would allow central planners and authoritarians to have unprecedented control over our finances, and this new development with home buyers is just the latest example. The Federal Reserve is currently tweeting about a law, right? A law that says they cannot do business with individuals, but they are also pushing for everyone to have an account with the Fed. This is where it gets scary. Right? It says with the CBDC, our dollars will become a liability to the Fed, not the commercial banking system. And that means the Fed can issue a credit based on narrative, not merit. This is already happening with mortgages. So a financial system or a credit system based off of narrative. So whatever the populace is, whatever the people say it needs to be, and whoever these people are, we don't know, right? They set up different actors to push certain agendas across, and once certain people speak on it, then the majority of the people gonna just follow suit, because they ain't nothing but sheeple, right? And once it gets to that point, then they can create legislation to back up what the people say, right? And that's the issue, because it's not based off of good and bad. It's not based off of logic. It's based off of emotion at that point, and emotions can be manipulated, and the devil knows this, right? But it says this is already happening with mortgages. Home buyers with good credit are being charged more, while riskier borrowers get better terms. The Fed can do this because they have an infinite balance sheet. They don't have to worry about getting paid back, so they can take risk that regular banks can't. I ain't tripping off of it, because to be real with you, I hope they do more, right? And I hope it backfires tremendously, right? Because damn the daughter of Babylon, right? The majority of the Most High people, they're not operating in good financial standards in this place. It's designed for it to be so. So that's what's up, right? But it says the government will pitch this as a way to help disadvantaged groups, but it's just another step toward a CBDC. The ultimate goal is to have everyone's account at the Fed so they can implement more woke policies, right? And the only way to achieve this is by moving our dollar liabilities to the Fed, right? Of course, they're going to always try to pitch it as something good, try to pitch it as, well, we're helping out the community and so forth and so on. But when have you ever known this devil to truly help out their community? Like straight like that, right? Let me see. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 13, and verse 3. It says, the rich man hath done wrong, and yet he threateneth withal. The poor is wronged, and he must entreat also. If thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. Right? So, of course, they're going to throw the so-called black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native Americans under the bus and say, we're doing this to help them out and so forth and so on. Because who are the poor of the earth? Right? Who are the oppressed people of the world? It's us. So they can throw our name under anything and make things happen as such. And that'll also create a narrative of division greater than it already is, so that Esau and his people can say, well, they're the problem, right? So now the average so-called black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native American, they go out into the world and they getting noses turned up to them, and they getting talked about behind their back, so forth and so on, and they don't know why. Right, but the real reason is you've been thrown under the bus by the people that your ass love. Right? I was trying to find this scripture Saturday. I could not find this thing. It's the book of Lamentations. I was right there too, like right there at it. It be like that sometimes, though. It's the book of Lamentations, chapter 1, And verse 2, it said, matter of fact, verse 1 says, how doth the city sit solitary that was full of people? How is she become as a widow, she that was great among the nations and princess rather, among the provinces? How is she become tributary? Right? And they're speaking about Jerusalem, how we at one point in time we was at the top of the world, and now we become tributary, meaning we at the bottom of society, paying on the different nations that we're attached to, in one of all things, like it says in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. Right, verse 2 says, she weepeth sore in the night, and her tears are on her cheeks. Among all her lovers, she had none to comfort her. All her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They are become her enemies. Right? And like I said, man, the majority of the Most High people, they still trying to look for love from these folk, not understanding that really you just pawns in this game of Esau's. Right? And he can use you however it is he want. If you ain't got your mind right, if the Most High Yahweh Shema Shai ain't dealing with you spiritually, right? But let me see. Back to this article, it says this move to charge home buyers with good credit more is just the beginning. We may see a world where interest rates are gone entirely in 5 years. They keep with the by 2030 and 2045 and 2050. Man, look. Yahweh Ratazah, this place gone within the next few months. And I hope this thing gone tomorrow. For real. Yeah. Esau swallowed him down. He ain't never going nowhere. Oh man, what's that precept? Let me see. It read like his inward thoughts is that it's something like that. Let me see. It's a lot. 1 second. So this is Psalms 49 and 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Right? So speaking about the wicked, man, the rich, they place their names on other people's property and swallow them down. They ain't gonna never fall. Even though they're doing everything that their forefathers did in the past, and I'm talking about like exactly, and it's falling the same way, right? In their mind, and they proud thoughts, they ain't never going down, right? But it says, I'm gonna read this again. This move to charge home buyers with good credit more is just the beginning. We may see a world where interest rates are gone entirely in 5 years, and that's a scary thought. So stay vigilant, rebel capitalists, keep your eye on the Fed and the developments around CBDCs, and remember the more control they have over our finances, the less control we have over our lives, right? And they've been had control over our finances. Like I said, they created poverty and oppression, right? Created hoods and ghettos and the mindsets that goes into these things, right? Created the music to help guide the youth to continue on the destructive path of a hood, of a ghetto, right? And popularized demon activity as opposed to positivity, right? So they've been on it. It's just now it's reaching Esau, and it's getting to the point to where now they speaking on it. Like I said, they're gonna make it to where we the villain in this thing, right? But at the end of the day, this is all the Most High is doing. This is all the Most High's work. The Most High is the Most High of good and evil. Nothing happens on this planet without His say so. So the things that are happening now is for the liberation of the saints, right? And that's why Esau and his cohorts cannot understand what's going on, because it ain't for them. It's for Yasharallah. It's for the elect of Yasharallah, right? So, hey, call Elohim like Bashim Yahweh Bashim Krakadosh for that. Like I said, every time we read about things like this and we hear about news like this, we get excited, man, because we understand this place got to go through absolute hell before it get destroyed, according to the prophecies, right? And this is a portion of it. All right, so with that, hey, Yahweh Shemel Sharatazah, these precepts in this video were edifying. Kol Holoyim La, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Harakakodash, Shalom Yashala.